Have your seats. We're about to begin. Would you please take your seats? We're about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present to you 2016-2017 Chelsea City Council and Chelsea School Committee.
Good evening. At this time, I'd ask everybody to please rise so we can have the superintendent introduce Precious Perez, who will sing the national anthem for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Precious Perez, Chelsea High School senior, and most recently WCVB Channel 5 A+ student. So, Precious Perez. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Precious. If everybody could continue to stand so we may salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd ask the clerk to call a roll call. You may be seated.
Councilor Frank. Councilor Vidot. Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor Recupero. Councilor Murphy. Councilor Lopez. Councilor Tejada. Councilor Garcia. Councilor Avellaneda.
Present.
Councilor Cortell. Councilor Robinson.
Here.
All members present.
Okay, we have a quorum. I'll ask the clerk to read the call of the meeting.
Dear Honorable Council members, please be advised that Chelsea City Council Senior Member Leo Robinson has called for a special meeting of the Chelsea City Council for Monday, January 4th, 2016, at 7 o'clock in the City Council chambers for the following purposes: salute to the flag, roll call of members, oath of office for the Chelsea City Council, election of officers, roll call positions, seating positions, and delegate to the Chelsea School Committee. Also remarks by new City Council President and any dignitaries.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Counsel Cortell.
Move to accept the call of the meeting under suspension.
Seeing no objection, so moved. At this time, I'll ask the city clerk to come forward and administer the oath of office to the city council. All of us. Please stand. City council.
You want me to stand in front?
Yeah, if you want to go in front. Okay. Clerk will go in front so she can face us.
First the council, then the school committee.
Yeah. Then stay there for the school committee. Then stay there for the school committee.
So please raise your right hand. When I say aye, please state your name and repeat after me. I
We all right?
do solemnly swear and affirm
Do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
perform all duties
perform all duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as members of the Chelsea City Council
as members of the Chelsea City Council
according to the best of my abilities and understanding,
according to my ability and understanding,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
the Charter and ordinances
the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Chelsea.
of the City of Chelsea.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. At this time, I'd ask the clerk to do the same for the school committee. If the school committee could please stand. Raise your right hand.
Please raise your right hand. When I say aye, please state your name and repeat after me. I, Margaret Collins, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform all duties incumbent upon me as members of the Chelsea School Committee according to the best of my ability and understanding, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution, the laws of the Commonwealth, the Charter and ordinances of the City of Chelsea. So help me God.
At this time, the chair recognizes Counsel Frank.
I move that the rules for the 2015 City Council be the same rules for the 2016 until such time that the Subcommittee on Rules and Ordinances meets and recommends otherwise.
Counsel Murphy.
Second the motion and move for adoption under suspension.
Seeing no objection, so moved. Chair calls on Counsel Avellaneda.
I move that the seating for 2016 be drawn as the organizational conference held on December 14, 2015,
Under suspension.
under suspension.
Seeing no objection, so moved.
Council Vidal moves second.
Counsel Vidal.
So I move that the roll call for 2016 be as drawn at the organizational conference held on December 14, 2015.
I second the motion and ask for adoption under suspension.
Seeing no objection, so moved. At this time, we'll open up the floor for the office of the president. Counsel Murphy.
Nominate City Councilor Dan Cortell.
Counsel Vidat.
Second.
Seeing no other nomination, we'll close that portion of the meeting. I'll ask the clerk to take a vote.
By name,
By-
please. Counselor Frank?
Councilor Dan Cortell?
Counselor Vidot?
Counselor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Councilor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Recupero?
Councilor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Murphy?
Counselor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Lopez?
Counselor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Tahada?
Counselor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Garcia?
Counselor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Avellaneda?
Counselor Dan Cortell.
Counselor Cortell?
Present.
Counselor Robinson?
Counselor Cortell.
10 members in favor, Counselor Cortell, 1 present. Counselor Cortell is your newly elected
I'll
president.
ask Amir and Judah to escort Dan to the podium. Just escort him to the podium. Yeah, you too.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
Dan Cortell,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform all duties
perform all duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as President of the Chelsea City Council
as President of Chelsea City Council,
according to the best of my ability and understanding,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and
of
regulations
the Constitution,
of the Constitution,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
laws of the Commonwealth,
Charter and ordinances
Charter and ordinances
of the City of Chelsea.
of the City of Chelsea,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. So I thank my fellow city councilors, and I would just take a moment to invite up past President Leo Robinson. So I'd like to take this, Leo was president at the last council, a very important council where we picked the city manager, a very visible task. He did a terrific job, and he's been a mentor to me since the day I got here. I know you have a stack of these, but I hope this is a special one in light of the work we did.
All right, thanks. Good luck.
Congratulations. Leo. I would ask for nominations for vice president. Any second?
I second that motion.
Any other names for nomination? Seeing none, close that portion.
By name, please. Counselor Frank?
Councilor Demalde Vidal.
Counselor Vidot?
Present.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Councilor Demalde Vidal.
Counselor Recupero?
Councilor Demalde Vidal.
Counselor Murphy?
Counselor Damali Vidal.
Counselor Lopez?
Counselor Damali Vidal.
Counselor Tahada?
Counselor Damali Vidal.
Counselor Garcia?
Counselor Damali Vidal.
Counselor Avellaneda?
Counselor Vidal.
Counselor Cortell?
Councilor Vidal.
Counselor Robinson?
Counselor Vidot.
10 in favor, Counselor Vidot, and 1 present. Counselor Vidot is your new vice president-elect.
I'll ask Councilor Vidal to come up and proclaim and swear her in.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
Damali Vidal.
do solemnly swear and affirm
Do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform all duties
perform all duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as Vice President of the Chelsea City Council,
as Vice President of the Chelsea City Council,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding,
agreeably to the rules and regulations,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
the Constitution,
of the Constitution,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
the laws of the Commonwealth,
Charter and ordinances
the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Chelsea.
of the City of Chelsea.
So help me God.
So help me God. At this time, I'd ask for nominations for the school board delegate of council. Chair recognizes Councilor Frank.
I nominate Jameer Rodriguez.
Any, Councilor Avenatti seconds. Any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. I would ask for a roll call vote.
By name, Councilor Frank.
Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Vidart.
Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilor Recupero.
Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Murphy.
Councilor Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Lopez.
Councilor Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Tejada.
Councilor Jameer Rodriguez. Sorry, bro.
Councilor Garcia.
Councilor Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Avellaneda.
Councilor Jameer Rodriguez.
Councilor Cortell.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Councilor Robinson.
Councilor Rodriguez.
10 votes for Councilor Rodriguez, 1 present. Councilor Rodriguez is your new delegate to the school committee.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I Jameer Rodriguez, do solemnly swear and affirm do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially I will faithfully and impartially perform all duties perform all duties incumbent upon me incumbent upon me as City Council delegate as City Council delegate to the Chelsea School Committee, to the Chelsea School Committee, according to the best of my abilities and understanding, to my best abilities and understanding, agreeably to the rules and regulations, agreeably to the rules and regulations, Constitution, the Constitution, the laws of the Commonwealth, the laws of the Commonwealth, the Charter and ordinances the charters and ordinances of the City of of Chelsea. the City of Chelsea. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
So I congratulate Vice President Vido and Delegate to the School Committee Rodriguez. I will have a few remarks as we begin this session. First of all, to my fellow councilors, doesn't November 3rd seem like a really long time ago? I welcome honored guests, Representative Dan Ryan, City Manager Tom Ambrosino, Superintendent Mary Burke, school committee members, fellow city councilors, Chief Kais, some former city councilors in the audience, Roseanne Bongiovanni, Paul Nowicki, and everybody here for coming tonight. Thank you. I'd first like to express how honored I am to have been chosen to be the president for the 2016 session. As a position which one's elected to by their peers, some of whom I've worked with over the years and some I've just recently gotten to know, this is an honor of the highest order, and for their trust and confidence they've placed in me, I am most appreciative and humbled. I, of course, wouldn't be in this position if the residents of District 8 did not send me back up to represent them, so I want to thank my constituents and anybody and all the people who have been supportive of me recently and over the years, and I will not list names, but those people know who they are. We are here tonight to celebrate the beginning of a new session of City Council that's comprised of a mix of new faces and faces that have returned. This is a council with historic Latino representation that we as a community can be most proud of. As I said to the paper recently, I have inherent respect for anybody who takes that leap from being an interested resident to running and holding office, knowing of the scrutiny and responsibility that it carries. By virtue of being here tonight, we sit here with some shared experiences that include an impetus for jumping into the political ring, running a campaign, having a sleepless night before election night, a very long day on election day, the anxiety of waiting for results, and sometimes it doesn't even end there, but it's a quiet moment of introspection where you ask yourself what exactly you got yourself into as you grab your signs from around the city. Founded in mutual respect and the results of what seems like endless conversations that have taken place by phone and in person since Election Day and even before, I am certain that all councilors put their name on a ballot, campaigned, and ran to bring their motivations, perspectives, expertise, experiences, passions, all to being part of making Chelsea the best it can be. I'll also point out that this group of councilor-elects jumped into their roles immediately and their preparedness process by attending city council meetings, city events, the likes of a planning and zoning board meeting that literally went on to the next day in a manner that I have not seen in the past. Doing this not only served to demonstrate to me and others of the understanding of the task and the commitment that they've taken on, but gave returning councilors and councilor-elects reason and cause and opportunity to interact with each other in city council-like settings. The inclination of the new folks to ask questions and make inquiries of the senior members and reciprocal willingness of those approached to function as mentors in the way that Leo, Brian Hadelberg, the late Mike McConan, Roseanne Bongiovanni, and others most generously did to me when I was first a councilor and new, speaks not just volumes about those people or of city council, but of truly what is the Chelsea way, and that is helping others as its own reward where all people are benefited. So I stand with my colleagues and all of you today confident that before you sit a passionate and dedicated group of individuals, new and old, that possess a shared passion that more than any litmus test or any knowledge of how anybody will vote on any specific issue makes me confident that they are all here and to represent the city and will partner to be an active council, effectively represent residents and stakeholders, and despite inevitable periodic disagreements, will collectively work to better the city. We have a common goal in seeing reaching its full potential. And while last council's most visible and important task was to replace the city manager, one of the last that last council tackled was replacing our own longtime administrative assistant, Nancy Pantano. Nancy, come up for 1 second, just like, or stand. So on behalf of myself, personally, and all the help you've given me, especially when I was new and former president, I want to thank you. I want to do it on behalf of the councils I've been on, and I believe I can speak for councils I have not been on. She's been here a lot longer than I have. Thank you very much for your help and your support.
Thank you, thank you.
So the good news with Nancy is she's not going very far. She's just going down the hall to be administrative assistant to the city manager. So she is going to occasionally get tapped for the vast knowledge she has, and it's good to know she's there. As part of the last task of replacing Nancy, we as a subgroup of the former city council began a hiring process. We decided two things at the outset of this process, and they are, one, we needed to look no further than Chelsea to find the best and brightest candidate, and the second, that we wanted to do something and seize the opportunity to best represent the people that we do represent, and that is by hiring someone who spoke both English and Spanish. We did that by hiring somebody who the superintendent will attest to was a standout student of our own school system, a member of the National Honor Society, honors classes, a graduate of a prestigious university, and it is Ledia Coco. Ledia, so stand up for 1 second and just speak over here. So Ledia is not just bilingual in Spanish and English. She speaks at least a third language and parts of a few others. So she will be a major asset to us, and we look forward to working with her. This is her first day. In hiring her, we may have broke the first adage of hiring, and that's don't hire anybody smarter than yourself. But for the city, anything. The role of City Council generally is to oversee city finances by demanding budgets that are balanced, but that still provide residents necessary services with the quality they deserve, something this council will continue to take most seriously. We'll also continue to exercise supervisory roles over the administration of city government. It's managerial in nature, but in light of a partnership, a shared purpose and a mutual respect, it ends up being more of a partnership with a free flow of ideas swap between the administrative branch and the executive branch to reach long and short-term goals that we've set, that especially as compared to what we see in Washington is both impressive and efficient. The fruits of those successful partners can be seen in a number of construction projects, large and small, around the city. They include hotels, residential units, the FBI building, the Silver Line, that, like the Soldiers' Home that was here long before me, and Leonard Florence Center for the Living that I watched being built as a city councilor, just to name two, will undoubtedly become defining characteristics of Chelsea long into the future. Knowing that growing pains go along with construction, infrastructure, upgrades, betterments of these types, council will be tasked to remain the voice of residents it represents to assure the pains are mitigated and managed in ways most respectful to those they most affect. And as a result of conversations that started in anticipation and during a flurry of zoning and planning meetings at the tail end of the last session, changes in leadership in both the city manager's office, a couple of city hall departments, and council itself, I can comfortably state that this new council's desire is to play a very active role in reevaluating and updating Chelsea's development plan with an eye towards what areas may be close to or at a saturation point. District dates, Urban Renewal District is one of the areas that's Market Basket Plaza with the hotels and the FBI building, and other areas like the waterfront and the Silver Line Path that we hope are going to be developed in a way that don't just benefit a developer or the T, but current and future residents, especially with regard to access and use. And we have, as a council and city government alike, I believe, are in a position to do this from a place of power that we've earned through years of work, patience, and discipline that put the days of begging people to come to Chelsea behind us, and where we are in a position to flex our discretionary muscles as to what comes here, whether it's in size, the recent Forbes development we thought was too large, substance, a strip club that I think we're just plain better than, or form that we shouldn't demand fit into the fabric of the neighborhoods they seek to be part of. But for the purpose of tonight, more generally, City Council as a body will continue to challenge the administration and enhance the quality of life of all residents in every neighborhood throughout our city and make the streets safer and more inviting to all who live here, work here, or have any reason to be on them. We'll continue to run this entity, City Council, with honesty, transparency, and accountability, and will demand the same of the rest of city government at all levels and anybody who seeks to partner with us. We'll continue to be financially responsible with the money we control, your money, and prioritize it and use it in a well-reasoned, deliberative, and disciplined manner. We'll continue to foster a relationship with community-based organizations and any other entity like school committee, Chelsea Public Schools, Reach After School program, serving our at-risk youth, and all who assist our students in staying in school, succeeding in school, and steering them towards a successful future. We will continue to make Chelsea a desired place to bring business and function as a partner in the success of anybody who hears now or any entity that comes here in the near future. And as your elected officials, both individually as councilors and collectively as a body, will continue to do the most important task that we have, and that is inviting the engagement of and actively seeking the input of those we represent, the ones who sent us here, on any and all matters that serve to make this the best community possible, the safest it can be, and a place we can all remain proud to call home. Since the day I became involved in Chelsea government to today, the beginning of this year, 2016 City Council session, I've been most impressed with the enthusiasm that those working to better Chelsea bring to the various tasks they undertake. I am looking forward to working with my fellow city councilors, new and old, with whom I have a shared passion and purpose. I'm confident this will be a productive and rewarding session of the executive branch of Chelsea City Government. Know that I am committed to do all that I can to see that it is, and I reiterate my appreciation for the opportunity to do so as the City Council President. I thank all of you in attendance, anybody watching at home, and most especially my fellow City Councilors for the honor that they've bestowed upon me. At this point, I'll invite Representative Dan Ryan up for a few comments. Mr. President.
Good evening. The exercise that we watched performed here tonight is being replicated in cities and towns throughout Massachusetts this evening. So therefore, I am bringing the greetings of the State House on behalf of Senator DiDomenico and my fellow Representative Rosalie Vincent, so that they can also attend the swearing-in of councilors in our neighboring cities and towns. And I just want to briefly say that, you know, with all the ballyhoo and everything that come with elections, and we can go home tonight and watch a real mess on television, people yelling at each other. What we witness here tonight is a peaceful transition of power. Secretary Yarina is here, Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Thank you, Secretary. And I think it's an honor to the legacy of Chelsea that in the 2nd Suffolk District, that those fundamental values that are still a question around the globe, that were first fought in the hills of this district, in the creek, Chelsea Creek, Bunker Hill, that is what we're celebrating here tonight. It's not a victory of party, it's a celebration of freedom, renewal as well as change. As you notice, I quote from history, because I figure President Kennedy's got a pretty good reputation. I'll stick with what works. You might also hear some Bon Jovi or something coming out, but that's the early 90s, late 80s. That's pretty good, you know, time. It gets jumbled up a little. In that oath taken tonight is an allegiance to the city of Chelsea, the Commonwealth, and our nation. That same solemn oath that our forebears prescribed at the time of President Kennedy's inauguration was a century and 3/4 ago. That is the legacy of Chelsea. That is the legacy of the men and women who are being serviced here in Admirals in the Soldiers' Home. That is the history of our district. The historic change here tonight, the majority Latino, I'll get it all right, all the political correctness, like, as well as it is new for Chelsea, it is old Chelsea. We are a city of refugees, whether you're Italian, Irish, Russian, European Jew, we all came here to escape the old world and whatever the old world brought to the new world. And it's funny that, I don't know if it's funny, but most of what we'll deal with, I hope, will be potholes and school buildings. But Chelsea has a unique politics that those national issues come out in a local election. And it's the beautiful part of this city. It's why I love representing Chelsea. I didn't do too well in school, but I did well in history, and it's all right here in this neighborhood. So I welcome our new members. I welcome the school committee, new and old. And the one quote that I can think of as we mentioned Paul Nowicki and Roseanne Bongiovanni, and to sum it all up, rather than quote a politician, I'll quote the lyrics from Welcome Back, Kotter. The names have all changed since you hung around, but the dreams have remained and they've turned around. How's that? Thank you all.
At this time, I'd invite the city manager to make some remarks.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. So I just, on behalf of the executive branch, really want to welcome and congratulate all of the new elected members of Chelsea City Government, both the people who are first-timers and those returning. I think we can all feel that there's sort of a palpable energy in this room tonight. And I know that a part of that is because there are many new faces, and it's very exciting to be inaugurated and sworn in for the first time. But I also think there's something more than that. This new face of government represents something in addition to just changing demographics. I really get the sense that there's a renewed optimism about what city government here in Chelsea can accomplish for its residents. You know, this city has been blessed over the last 20 years with extraordinary leadership. It really has, including leadership in this council. And that leadership has helped to put Chelsea in an enviable position, both financially and in terms of its future. But what I sense now in talking to, over the last month or so, the returning councilors and in many cases the new councilors, is there's this shared sense of purpose among all up here, this shared vision that it's time to take full advantage of this financial well-being and use it transformatively in programs, in services, in public improvements, to change the lives, to positively impact the lives of the people who work here, who live here, who pay taxes here, who try to raise a family here, who send their children to school here. In other words, the time is ripe, and I think all of us feel that way, to take this good fortune that we have and start investing it heavily in our residents. Some of you have lived in Chelsea for generations, sometimes in the same house. Some of you are newcomers here who've come seeking sanctuary from a troubled foreign land. Whatever your circumstances are that brought you to Chelsea, our goal as elected officials is the same. It's a singular duty that we have, and that is to make your lives better, to create an environment where you're safe, you're fulfilled, and you feel proud to call Chelsea home. My pledge is to work with this group of elected officials to make sure that dream is a reality. This too is an extraordinary group of leaders. I have no doubt that they are more than capable of meeting this challenge. I congratulate you, and I look forward to 2 and hopefully many more productive years working together.
Well, this time I'd like to invite Superintendent Mary Burke up for some comments.
Well, there's not much more that I can add to the comments here this evening. I will state that I, too, am extremely excited with the energy that has come forward and emerged from both the new city council as well as the new school committee. As the spokesman for the students, families, and staff of the Chelsea Public Schools, I extend our sincere congratulations this evening to the city council, those returning to serve another term, and those who are serving a new term. To our own Chelsea School Committee, we offer our congratulations to those returning and to those newly elected. With your election this fall and tonight with your acceptance of the oath of office, We are entrusting you to use your time and talents to move our city forward, and that also means move our schools forward. Our expectation is that we will work with you, City Council, school committee, and we will collaborate. Our job is to support administrators, teachers, and educators as they take our great schools and make them greater on behalf of our students and our families. Public service is a commitment and a calling to work for the greater good. Public service means we put the needs of others first before ourselves in all of our decision-making. You have answered the call, and we are excited to know we will be partnering with you. On behalf of our students and their families in the Chelsea Public Schools, congratulations, and this is going to be a wonderful 2 years.
Seeing no other business before the committee, is there a motion to adjourn? At this time, the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming.